Alright, we're gonna have to do this one quick. I'm trying to run this right before work. I have roughly 45 minutes, and these have been taking me about 30 to 45 minutes, so we're just gonna jump right into it. I decided against elves. I do think elves is more powerful after thinking about it a little bit more. So we're doing Quandrix. So this is, the basis is a precon. I haven't done a whole lot of modifications to it yet, but I have done enough. I have done enough to warrant a video, I think. So, yeah, there's the other box. Just jumping right into it. So, first things first, we have Aedrix and Nev, Twin Casters. And this is the cardboard insert. I don't see any reason why I would use the actual card if they give me a playable stock piece. But yeah, jumping right into it. We've got Primal Empathy. It is a 3-drop green-blue enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control a creature with... Oh, I forgot to keep the cats out. That's what I'm doing wrong. Oh, lordy. Trial by fire today. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on creatures you control. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to fix that. Okay. Anywho. Reliquary Tower. No maximum hand size. Pretty important in this deck. Geometric Nexus. 2-drop artifact. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, put a number of charge counters on Geometric Nexus equal to the spell's mana value. Pay 6 and tap it. Remove all charge counters from Geometric Nexus. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of charge counters removed this way. Fractals are kind of like the bread and butter of this deck, in my opinion. Biomass Mutation. It's a 2-drop split green-blue with X. At instant speed, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn. This is a big one. It's definitely a big play. Fractal Harness. It's another big card. 3-drop with green and X. Artifact equipment. When Fractal Harness enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it and attach Fractal Harness to it. Whenever equipped a creature attacks, double the number of 1/1 counters on it. Equip 2. Very big spell. That will get very scary very fast. Lonely Sandbar, blue cycling. Reef the Vastwood. Enters tapped, and it has a special ability where you can tap it to put a 1/1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield that turn. Incubation Druid, 2-drop green elf, Druid 0/2, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has a 1/1 counter on it, and there are 3... No, if it has a 1/1 counter, add 3 mana of that type instead. And then you can pay 5, including 2 green, to adapt 3 and put 3 1/1 counters on Incubation Druid. Biomathematician, 3-drop green-blue. Human Wizard, 2/2. When Biomathematician enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a 1/1 counter on each fractal you control. That gets nuts, especially when you copy him, because he's doing that, and making fractals, and copying, and copy. That's all this deck is about, is just copying. And doubling. Math. It's a lot of fucking math. But it's inconsistent, so that's why it's not as high as Elf. Feral Incarnation. This is a 9-drop green sorcery, but it has Convoke, which is going to be the only way you're going to cast it. You put 3 green 3 3 green beast creature tokens onto the battlefield. That's not a very big spell, but you're gonna have a lot of extra creatures to be tapping with, so the convoke cost is gonna be negligible. And then if you've got any of the enchantments that double the amount of tokens that you get, that's going to become stupid. Even just one of them, you're doing 6 3/3 beasts right there. Tranquil Thicket, green cycling. Kodama's Reach, 3-drop green. Sorcery Arcane, so you go search your library for 2 basic land cards, reveal them, 1 on the battlefield tapped, 1 in your hand, then shuffle. Myriad Landscape, enters the battlefield tapped, taps for normal, land, mana, whatever you want to call it. But you can also pay 2 and sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Blackscaster Frog Lean. 3-drop green blue, Frog Mutant, 0/0, with Graft 3, so it'll enter with 3 1/1 counters on it. And you can pay 2 to have target creature with a 1/1 counter on it gain Shroud until end of turn. With Graft, it also allows the creature to move the 1/1 counters onto a creature that has entered the battlefield. So you're basically just supposed to use the frog as like a 1/1 counter outlet. Master Biomancer, 4-drop green blue, elf wizard, 2/4. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of additional 1/1 counters on it, equal to Master Biomancer's power and toughness. No, equal to Master Biomancer's power, which is going to be at least 2. And as a mutant in addition to its other types. I guess not at least 2, it could be lower than 2, but its base is 2, so. Here we go. Primal Vigor, 5-drop green, enchantment. If 1 or more tokens would be put onto the battlefield, twice that many of those tokens are put onto the battlefield instead. If 1 or more 1/1 counters would be placed on a creature, twice that many 1/1 counters are placed on that creature instead. It's one of those spells that just goes nuts. Quandrix Command, 3-drop green blue, instant. Choose to return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. And target player shuffles up to 3 cards from their graveyard into their library. I feel like you're pretty much always going to choose to put 2 1/1 counters on a target creature, or return target creature to its owner's hand. I feel like the other 2 are really situational. Oversimplify, 5-drop green blue. Sorcery, exile all creatures, very huge. Each player creates a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token and puts a number of 1/1 counters on it, equal to the total power of creatures they controlled that were exiled this way. Very good way to consolidate the board, and then you can go ahead and use your removal spells to take care of those, because at that point, since it's a token, you can literally just bounce it to their hand and it's gone. So, very powerful spell there. Commander's Insight, a 3-drop blue with X. At instant speed, target player draws X cards plus an additional card for each time they've cast a commander from the command zone of this game. Curse of the Swine. This is such a fun card to play. 2-drop blue with X. At sorcery speed, exile X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, its controller creates a 2/2 green boar creature token. There is honestly not a lot funnier than turning big, huge, beefy, monstrous threats into some piggies. Rites of Replication, 4-drop double blue sorcery, kicker 5, total cost of 9. If you kick it, create a token that is a copy of target creature. If this spell was kicked, create 5 of those instead. That's also a Merfolk, so I've already kind of covered that one if you're following this series. Desolation Twins, 10 drop, Eldrazi. 10/10, when you cast this, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi token. That gets real bad if you've got those doubling spells. Command Tower, it adds 1 mana of any of your commander's identity color. Parallel Lives, 4 drop green. Enchantment, if an effect would put 1 or more tokens onto the battlefield under your control, it puts twice that many of those tokens onto the battlefield instead. Nissa's Expedition, 5 drop green, sorcery. With Convoke, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. Spawning Kraken. We got a 6 drop blue. Creature Kraken, 6/6. Whenever a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent you control deals combat damage to a player, create a 9/9 blue Kraken creature token. Double Major. This is one of the ones that I added here. This one's fucking great. It's a green-blue instant. Copy target creature spell you control, except it isn't legendary if the spell is legendary. It's very important because you're going to want to use this on this. Moving on. Perplexing Test. It is a 5 drop double blue, so instant speed. Choose 1, return all creature tokens to their owner's hand, or return all non-token creatures to their owner's hand. Doubling Season, 5 drop green, enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. If an effect would put 1 or more counters on a permanent you control, it puts twice that many of those counters on the permanent instead. Kind of like a strictly better version of the other ones, because it's only yours. At least I think the other ones are like that. Parallel Lives might be your control as well. Golden Ratio, 3 drop, green and blue. Sorcery speed, draw a card for each different power among creatures you control. Trigon Predator, 3 drop green blue. A beast, 2/3 flying. Whenever Trigon Predator deals combat damage to a player, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Utility. Shamanic Revelation, 5 drop double green. Sorcery speed, draw a card for each creature you control. With Ferocious, you gain 4 life for each creature you control with Tower 4 or greater. Cynic Growth Chamber. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters, you return a land card to its owner's hand. Use that land for mana before you send it back to your hand. Just a pro tip on those. Any land that states you have to send another land back to your hand, go ahead and use that land to generate the mana before you do that. Get yourself some efficiency. Kazandu Tuskcaller. 2 drop green, creature human shaman with level up. Level up being 1 and a green to make it be able to create an elephant from levels 2 through 5. And then once you get to level 6, you can make 2 green elephants by tapping. Theoretical Duplication, 3 drop blue, instant speed. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control this turn, create a token that's a copy of that creature. That's a really fun way to just shit on your opponent's big play, because you know they put all this mana into a big creature and then you just kind of copy it. You know, like, it's really fun when they're doing a board wipe creature, like a Deathbringer Regent or something like that, because it's just like yours is gonna come onto the stack later or first. Actually, that's not a good thing. Oops. Forgotten Ancient. 4 drop green. Elemental. 0/3. Whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a 1/1 counter on Forgotten Ancient. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of 1/1 counters from Forgotten Ancient onto other creatures. It's kind of like an upgraded version of Graft. Temple of Mystery. Land. Enters the battlefield tapped, and when it does, you scry 1. Otherwise, green or blue. Sequence Engine. I think this is a pretty nasty one, if I remember right. 3-drop green, artifact. Pay X and tap to exile target creature with mana value X from a graveyard. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a X 1/1 counters on it and activate only as a sorcery. So that's going to depend on how much mana value you have in the creatures in your deck. Because there might be some that are kind of big, and there might be some that are just meh. We got a split card here. It is Incubation and Incongruity. Incubation is a split green-blue, sorcery speed. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, in a random order, specifically, sorry. And then Incongruity is a 3-drop green-blue instant. Exile target creature. Creature's controller creates a 3/3 green frog lizard creature token. Paradox Zone. Green and 4. Enchantment. Enters the battlefield with a growth counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, double the number of growth counters on Paradox Zone. That's going to be the turn it comes out, too. So it's going to go from 1 to 2 the turn it comes out. Then create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of growth counters on Paradox Zone. Even if it only stays out for 1 turn, you get a 2/2 for 5. So, I guess that's not that great, but it's not just going to get it might get immediately destroyed, so I don't know. Hornet Nest. 3-drop green. Insect 0/2 defender. Whenever it is dealt damage, create that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. Not the bees. Yavimaya Coast. It's a green-blue land that you get hurt for using the green or the blue. So don't use the green or the blue unless you really, really need to. Lumbering Falls. Enters battlefield tapped. You can tap it for green or blue, or you can also pay 4, including a green and a blue, and it becomes a 3/3 green and blue elemental creature token with hexproof. Until end of turn, it is still a land. Body of Research. 3 green, 3 blue, sorcery. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your library. We're playing Commander here, bud. Replication Technique. 5-drop blue, sorcery. You demonstrate. When you cast a spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Players may choose new targets for their copies. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control. So, this is just kind of helping hands if you play it that way and choose to copy 2. But, man, 5-drop to copy 2. And the only downside is your opponents get to copy things too. Use that when your opponents don't have anything, and you're golden. Reef Worm. It is a 4-drop blue creature worm, 0/1. When it dies, create a 3/3 blue fish creature token. With, when this creature dies, create a 6/6 blue whale creature token. With, when this creature dies, create a 9/9 blue cranker creature token. It's kind of like always a bigger fish in the form of a creature. Opal Palace. Add 1 or pay 1 and tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. If you choose to spend this mana to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with a number of additional 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. Exotic Orchard. Tap to add mana of any color from a land an opponent controls that could produce that mana. Study Hall. Tap it for 1, or pay 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any color. When you cast this mana to cast your commander, scry X, where X is the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. Hornet Queen. we got a 4 with 3 green for a total of 7. Creature insect 2/2 flying death touch. When Hornet Queen enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. With the doubling enchantments or the doubling commander, that becomes stupid. Curiosity Crafter. 3-drop, 4-drop with a blue. Bird Wizard 3/3. Flying, you have no maximum hand size. Whenever a creature token you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Llanowar Reborn. Enters battlefield tapped with tap for green, and Graft 1 enters with a 1/1 counter, kind of like the frog. And you can move it when another creature enters the battlefield. Gyre Engineer, 3-drop green blue. Vedalken Wizard, you can tap it to add green blue. And it's both, not one or the other. That's on a body of 1/1. Vine Glimmer Snarl. Enters the battlefield, you may reveal a forest or island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Temple of the False God. Tap for 2, but only if you control 5 or more lands. Manifestation Sage. 4-drop split green blue. Human Wizard 2/2. When Manifestation Sage enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Azuria's Predation. This is a 8-drop triple green. Sorcery. For each creature your opponents control, create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Each of those beasts fights a different one of those creatures. Navigen, Heart of Progress. Tap for 1, or pay green and a blue and tap it. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature that enters the battlefield this turn. Pairs really well with Reef the Vastwood. Tanazir Quandrix. That is Quandrix himself. Or herself, I'm not sure. Looks like a him, probably. 5-drop green blue. Legendary creature Elder Dragon. 4/4, flying and trample. When Tanzanir Quandrix enters the battlefield, double the number of 1/1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever Tanazir Quandrix attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to Tanazir Quandrix power and toughness until end of turn. Dumb. Terastodon. 8-drop double green. Elephant 9/9. When Terastodon enters the battlefield, you may destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents. For each permanent put into the graveyard this way, its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Rampant Growth. You know what to do. 2-drop green, sorcery, search a library for a basic, put it on the battlefield tab. Then shuffle. Spitting Image. 6-drop green blue split. Double green blue split. Sorcery, create a token that's a copy of target creature, and retrace. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land, in addition to paying its other costs. Guardian Augmenter. 3-drop green. Troll Wizard 2/2 with Flash. Commander creatures you control get 2/2, and hexproof. Dika, Fractal Theorist. 5-drop blue. Legendary creature Human Wizard 3/3 with Magecraft. Whenever you cast a copy an instant or sorcery spell, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is this spell's mana value. Pay 4, including a blue. Target creature token can't be blocked this turn. She's pretty nasty with the way this deck runs. Croson Grip. 3-drop green, instant with split second. As long as this spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities, which means that it's the last one that goes on the stack, basically. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's an island. What am I doing? Quandrix Cultivator. 3-drop. One has to be green, one has to be blue, and then there's a split. So that's interesting. Don't see that very often. 3/4 Turtle Druid. When Quandrix Cultivator enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic forest or island, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. No tapped. That's always nice. Zimone, Quandrix Prodigy. I really dig this card. It's a green and blue legendary creature, human wizard, 1/2. You can pay 1 and tap it to put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, or pay 4 and tap it and draw a card. If you control 8 or more lands, you draw 2 cards instead. Mana Gorger Hydra. 3-drop green, Hydra 1/1, trample. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a 1/1 counter on Mana Gorger Hydra. Excuse me. Blighted Woodland. Tap to add 1 or pay 4, including a green, and sacrifice it. Tap, sacrifice it. Search a library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Mana Fixing. Hydra Broodmaster. 6-drop double green. I believe this is actually alt art too, because I think I have the old Theros art, and I think that's different. It's a 7/7 with Monstrosity XX green. Monstrosity X. If this creature isn't monstrous, put X 1/1 counters on it and it becomes monstrous. When Hydra Broodmaster becomes monstrous, create X XX green Hydra creature tokens. Big spell. Can become big anyways. Simic Signet, 2-drop artifact. Pay 1, add green and blue. So, good way to filter some of that non-colored mana generation. Quandrix Campus enters battlefield taps. Tap for green or blue, or pay 4 and tap to scry 1. Idol of Oblivion, 2-drop artifact. Tap it to draw a card. Only do this if you created a token this turn. Or pay 8, tap it, sacrifice it, and get a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Probably save that for when you can actually get 2 or 3 of them. Beast Within, 3-drop green. Green's original kill spell. Instant speed, destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Fun Magic history fact, that used to be the only spell green had to kill creatures before I think Rabid Bite was added in Innistrad. Growth Spiral, green-blue, instant speed, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Oswart Bridge, this one's kind of fun. Has Hideaway. When this land enters the battlefield tapped, this land enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. Tap to add green, or pay green and tap it. You may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater. Got a freebie in there. Mystic Reflection. Got that extended art. 2-drop blue, instant, choose target non-legendary creature. The next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalkers enters the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. Foretell for 1 blue. Eureka Moment. 4-drop green-blue, instant, draw 2 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And last card, Rapid Hybridization. Instant speed, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. That creature's controller creates a 3/3 green frog lizard creature token. Really good kill spell. Also, don't think blue has many kill spells, so that's a unique card in that respect. So that will be Quandrix deck. So yeah, I'm actually kind of scheduling these out because I pumped enough of them out yesterday that I could schedule them out days in advance. So this one should be going up Saturday? I think. Saturday. But, anywho, yeah, that was fun. I've been trying to do, like, a color-coordinated thing with my shirt to match the decks that I'm doing, but I didn't have a split green-blue shirt, so sorry about that. Also, I have to go to work, so I didn't want to wear something too goofy. But anywho, I hope y'all are enjoying these. I would say, like, leave me some advice down below if you have any tips on ways I can improve this series, but honestly, by the time that I see any of that, it's probably going to be a finished series, so, because at this rate, I only have 3 decks left. And honestly, I was hesitant to do this one anyways, because it's still mostly a precon. Anyone who has actually purchased this deck is probably scratching their head, because they probably only saw, like, maybe 10 cards that got swapped out. But I thought it was worth mentioning, and like some of the cards I put in there are like significantly big improvements. Speaking of which, another thing I wanted to talk about, just briefly before I shut this down, because I only play Casual Commander currently, I do use some proxies. So gasp. But I thought it might be fun as a little challenge going forward, because we still have 3 decks left, and you can technically go back and rewatch my old videos to do this challenge as well. Try and see if you can pick out which cards are the proxies. Obviously, you could just use the logic of, like, well, probably the most expensive cards on the deck, but try and have a little more fun with it. Try and do it purely off of what you can see. The other thing is, yeah, this is 720p, so it's not exactly the greatest quality, and this thing won't focus very good when you get it real close, so that's also kind of a bummer, but I don't know. Figure maybe you can tell. I don't know. Let's take a look real quick. If you can even tell the difference between the card and the card stock here. Not really. God, it's blurry. That sucks, man. That's alright. For the purposes of this video, I don't think the cards really need to be super visible. Woo! Okay. I think with that, we're done. We'll move on. Tomorrow's deck, or rather, yeah, tomorrow's deck, because I am uploading this in a schedule. It will be... I think it'll be Elves. But I feel like Elves is a really powerful deck. I just don't know if it's stronger than Ur-Dragon. It's gonna be Elves. It's definitely gonna be Elves. I'm not gonna change my mind on that. Definitely Elves. Alright. With that, I'll let you go and come back tomorrow for tomorrow's episode. I hope you're enjoying this series. Thank you for joining me.